All right, joining me now here on the Matthew Filipowicz Show is Anna Simonton. Anna is a freelance journalist and filmmaker whose work has been seen in The Nation magazine and Alternet, which you can, of course, find at alternet.org and thenation.com. Anna, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so Anna, you recently wrote a really interesting article for Alternet entitled How Wall Street Power Brokers Are Designing the Future of Public Education as a Money-Making Machine. And it really is a frightening and an eye-opening article. Tell us all about it.
Sure. Well, I got onto this topic because I recently moved back to Atlanta, which is where I grew up, and the local school board elections for Atlanta Public Schools had just happened earlier in November. And I was reading about it in the local papers, and something that stuck out to me was the fact that 4 alumni of Teach for America were running for seats on the board. One of them I actually went to high school with, so I was kind of following that out of interest in seeing what he was up to. But what stuck out to me was that these 4 candidates were receiving campaign contributions from millionaires all over the country who don't have an obvious stake or connection to Atlanta Public Schools. So I looked into it.
Describe real quick what if people aren't aware what Teach for America is.
Sure.
Describe very quickly what that is.
Sure. Teach for America is a national service corps. It's not run by the government. It's a nonprofit. It was started in the 1980s, and it basically recruits mostly Ivy League college graduates to go into underperforming schools in urban areas and teach for 2 years. And they've come under a lot of criticism for a lot of reasons, one of them being that the training period is very brief. It's something like 5 weeks over the summer. They go through this, teaching boot camp, and then they're thrown into the classroom. The idea being that Ivy League, these kind of bright-eyed recent graduates are going to come in and be so innovative that they're going to turn around classrooms that veteran teachers who are actually in these communities have struggled with. And so it's got this kind of missionary aspect to it. I think that's a lot of the criticism with TFA.
Mm-hmm. And also the kind of attack on teachers unions and stuff like that also is involved
Absolutely,
there.
Yeah.
But so you also you had a couple people who were involved with that running for school board, and you have billionaires funding them. Go back to what you were saying.
Sure. Okay. So one of the sort of unlikely donors in this race was Greg Penner, who married into the Walmart family. He sits on the national board of TFA, and he has actually donated to school board candidates in several other races around the country this year and last year. And prior to that, has been sort of a recurring name in terms of donating to state candidates for state government who are pro education reform. Although I take issue with the word reform, but that kind of summarizes a slate of things, including charter schools, performance pay for teachers, vouchers, things like that. So he's finding folks that are supportive of those kinds of policies and really working to put them into office. So he was one of the people donating the maximum allowable amount, $2,500, to some of the TFA candidates.